Howard Stern Show.
Yeah.
Hey, when you were going to college or whatever the hell that place is, where what's that guy's name?
Actor studio with that Lipton guy. Yeah.
What's his name? The guy that
Lipton.
Yeah. So they'd sit you in the front.
No, they didn't. No way. What are you talking
Well,
about?
hey, here, I got to play you a clip. Here, listen to this. This is Bradley when he was a
But
student.
I wasn't in the front, bro.
Sean Penn
I
was
was in the front then.
Let's relive this. You're a little too full of yourself. Let's relive this.
Let's take it back
listen
a
to me.
peg or
Let's
two.
take it down a peg. You're in that college inside the actor studio, right?
Yeah.
And it's Sean Penn is the
That's right.
actor on stage,
Yeah.
and here you are.
My name is Bradley Cooper. I'm a second-year actor. My question's regarding Hurley Burley. What was it like to revisit a character, Eddie, after a 10-year hiatus? Did you have new discoveries? Did you find that it was a different approach because you had already done this character before?
Did you have that written out like Bobo, like the guy who
Yeah,
calls
it
into my
was
show?
not off the cuff. It was not off the cuff.
That was not off the cuff, right? You had that written down.
I didn't have it written down, but before they handed me the mic, I was so nervous. I thought, what was it like to revisit a character? I still remember after 10-year hiatus.
Did you care about the answer, or were you sitting there going, "Hey, I got to get on camera somehow"?
On
with
camera.
this thing?
First of all, no. First of all, that never aired.
Oh, it didn't?
No, they only aired it after I think I started to do well as an actor.
Oh, I see.
So that because I didn't do this thing, I think, where you had to say like I'm an actor, I'm in the acting track, I'm in the third year, and I would just go right to the. I think I would say, "Hey, Bradley, I'm an actor," but then I would just ask the question.
So you weren't hand selected ahead of time.
Oh God, no.
This was
no,
not.
you raise your hand if you have a question.
And then they ask it.
Yeah, and I didn't want to. I was terrified.
Of Sean Penn,
No,
or
I was
of just-
terrified to like. First of all, like it's a television show. It took a long time to be comfortable in front of big audiences.
Right.
Like, when I was a kid, I was terrified to do anything like that. So I really did want to know.
Right.
Because I thought it was interesting. He had just made this movie.
Right.
And I was just working on the scene that he had done the play of years ago.
Right.
So I wanted to ask him, but everything inside me said, just shut up and don't ask him anything.
Because when you raise your hand, and it's nerve
Oh,
wracking.
bro, it's the worst. I mean,
And
the
it's
worst
Sean
was Robert
Penn.
De Niro, though. I only asked two people questions, Sean Penn and Robert De Niro. And Robert De Niro, I couldn't, when your mouth gets
You were
dry,
shaking.
I was shaking. I
Well,
was
you're
totally
shaking
sweating.
because Sean Penn and De Niro have that in common. They're both these intimidating guys.
Well, they're
who,
also guys that I love, and
Right.
I've loved since I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? So you're watching these people, and they're humans in front of you. I mean, it's a very surreal
And maybe
thing.
even think they're going to think my question is stupid.
That was the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Especially with De Niro's, because that question was much crazier.
What
than
was the
Sean Penn.
question
It
you
was-
asked him?
It was, what was it? Did you did this thing in Awakenings where did you see Awakenings?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
When he's trying to convince the board that he's normal, but the drugs aren't working anymore, and it's this beautiful thing that he does, and he's talking, he's like, and I want to, and he starts ticking, but he pretends. That he's just wiping his eyebrow instead of the tick,
Right.
And it's just heartbreaking,
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's like desperately saying like he's okay, and I asked him, and I literally did that.
Yeah. You did it in front of De Niro? You did the tick?
Yeah, well, how am I
The
gonna
fuck is
explain
wrong with
this?
you?
What was I gonna-
Yeah.
Standing up, like, so when you did this,
Yeah, so
and
what
then
was the
I
question?
said, is that something that just happened, or did you see people do that, or was that something you rehearsed?
And did he give you an answer, or was he
Bro,
typical De Niro?
I remember it like it was yesterday. This is exactly what he did. He was first of all, and the whole interview. We're sitting there for 3 hours. He barely said 4 words.
Right.
To left and right.
He's a
interviewed.
horrible interviewer.
And then he's
Right.
standing like this. He's like, went like this with his leg. That's a good question. Oh no, he went like this. He went, no, I didn't see anybody do that. That's a good question. And when he said, "That's a good question,"
Yeah.
I swear to God, it was like, and I was still standing.
You came in
and
your
it was
pants.
Like, it was like a beam of like shot through my stomach. I swear to God. And I just like, he just said, "That's a good question," and they had to pull me down, bro.
Wow.
Take the microphone out of my hand because I was just like this, and like someone else was, and they're like this. I'm like this, and then they had to like, the crowbar the goddamn mic out
Well,
of my
I
hand.
relate to this because, people see a guy like you who's on top of his game right now, but they don't understand that in the beginning, I know when I started on the radio, I could barely get a word out. I mean, you're that bad. So to go when you're at that stage of your career, to go in front of Robert De Niro
Bro,
and ask him a question,
it's nuts.
You got to be out of your mind. I would have
Yeah.
just kind of sat there like a sheep.
And I wanted to, believe me, I wanted to. And then I was going to ask some bullshit question about the mission in riding a horse because I thought he's going to make fun of me, this Awakenings thing. And the person right before me asked a question about the mission. I thought, oh, I got to ask him the real question.
Yeah.
And it was nerve-wracking. But it was one of those things where you're like, I got to do it because I'll kick myself if I don't
So I'm
do it.
curious. His answer was that it just happened?
It just happened.
It just happened while he was doing the
That's
scene.
right.
He came up with that little move.
That's right.
Yeah. And so good question went everything to you.
Everything.
So-
and not only that, and this is a little sad, but I asked them if I could have because it's a TV show,
Right.
Yeah.
but they didn't use it for the TV show, so they didn't have that question cut in.
So you said, "Hey, can I have a copy of that?"
Yeah, and they said, "Well, all we have is the wide."
Like they didn't have your close-up.
Oh no, not even wide. Like I didn't even know there was a camera there. It was like if it was like C-SPAN. You know what I mean?
But why didn't they have a camera on you?
They chose 2 other questions for the show. Like 5 people asked questions.
Right.
But I kept it and I had it and I would laugh so hard with my buddies because you'd see this little thing not sit down after the question.
It is funny because I figured they called on you because you're so handsome that they figured, hey, let's get some good-looking kid in here.
He never even made it to the TV show.
Never even made it to the TV show.
Have you done Inside the Actor Studio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that fun for you? Because I mean, you're the guy who used to be in the audience.
It was amazing.
Did you feel simpatico for the people who called on you in the audience?
Oh, I mean, first of all, most of the people I was in school with were there, so it actually was a unique thing because it doesn't look like that in the final product, but we were all talking. I mean, I was like, Joe, remember when we did this thing? And then we were all talking. And my dad was still alive. It was right before he passed away. He was there, and that was amazing.
When you worked with De Niro, did you tell him that whole story?
I've told it to him a couple times. I don't know if he remembers.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He doesn't give a shit.
That's it.
The Howard Stern Show.